VILUKHINA's shooting 0-1-0, so she can take some heart from the fact that she hit all the targets in the last of the standing shoots. Via Semerenko starting to look a little bit tired. I don't think it's going to be her season. The two twin sisters have switched, Mike, 3 years ago. Via won just about every race, and nowadays it's the other way round.
It's a strange, well, they say twin psychology is a strange psychology, and it is funny how over the years they've shaded them. At the beginning when they came to World Cup, they were so close. You said at every race they'd be within like 2 seconds, and then one got better, then the other got better. Quite strange.
Well, they've both had quite a lot of success out here in Khanty-Mansiysk, but neither of them have won a World Cup, and Vita Semerenko could be on the verge of that today. We saw them racing very well in the World Championships out here in 2011, and I guess it's a case of the fact that they enjoy this course. In fact, Vita got the silver medal in the sprint. I think she got the bronze medal in the individual. So consistently producing her best races of the season out in Siberia.
Jindřich Sikola looking the more relaxed coach. Well, Shamray never really shows anything, and he doesn't when he's training them. There's no emotion.
Well, the wind has just built for their last shoot of the season. It could be their hardest. It's certainly the hardest of this race and the hardest of the career of Vita Semerenko on lane number 1. Is she thinking about a possible win? I hope not, because it needs to be just the training routine. SOUKALOVA, as you know, has done it before, and she's done it twice this week already. So winning very much in her blood at the moment.
The win flags have just dropped off at this moment for them.
Now, if they both go clear, Mike, who would your money be on? Is that Vita Semerenko's chance? She's got to hope that SOUKALOVA misses on shot number 5. No such mistake, and the check is on absolute fire. Fantastic shooting from SOUKALOVA. 5 out of 5 to finish off the day. A full house of 20 targets down, and SOUKALOVA surely is on her way to win number 3 out of 3 here in Khanty-Mansijsk. DORIN HABERT gives herself a chance of getting on the podium again. MÄKÄRÄINEN's got to ski herself into the top 3 because she's got another 150-metre penalty to pay. Via Semerenko has missed, GLAZYRINA has missed, and you have to feel for Vita Semerenko. How painful is that? At least she didn't miss 3, and she's still in the running for a podium finish.
Well, the pressure there coming in, and SOUKALOVA looked the most in control, the most relaxed, just going through her normal routines. What a performance, 20 out of 20, and potentially, she's not won yet, 14 seconds ahead of DORIN.
Well, she's got to take a fall like Zaitseva to lose this one. 14 seconds for someone of her abilities. Although, think back to Pokljuka, where she got skied down by Miriam Gusner on the last lap, having come out some 300 metres clear. So if she has a meltdown like she had there in Pokljuka, but I think she's a different animal from just before Christmas. She's gradually grown in strength and showing fantastic form over the last couple of weeks. Well, further down, let's concentrate, because some very big names, including the world number 1. And Tora Berger, I think, is just enjoying the day out, isn't she, Mike? I think from the very first paces, we didn't see that racing attitude that's brought us so much success.
I think she must have been flat, Patrick, because normally she doesn't let herself be outside the top 5 on the first rotation. She was in 10th. She could not stay with the pace.
Will she finish the season with 5 out of 5? She does! What style! Great shooting from Tora Berger, and she goes up 4 or 5 places on one shoot alone. But I still think she's just going to cruise, because she knows that the Mass Start World Cup trophy is hers regardless of where she finishes. All she has to do is get to the line. So 2.5 kilometres to go, and then she can start she can go and look for a new suitcase to put the 5 crystal globes in.
Oh, how are they going to carry all them back? Look at Dombracheva. It's been an awful day for Dombracheva. I think that was 3, maybe 4 that she missed again. From when she lost that ski pole, her attitude or her spirit seemed to have snapped.
How much regret that SOUKALOVA didn't show this sort of form in the World Championships. You don't win many World Cups as a coach, but when you do, you might as well celebrate.
3 in a row, and I would imagine there's no, unless she falls, as you said, this is DORIN chasing SOUKALOVA down.
Well, I think the race might be between DORIN and Semerenko for second place, but Semerenko, I think, has found her spirit somewhat dampened by that miss on the last shoot. How many times do we say it, Mike? If you're going to miss, don't do it on the last shoot.
Vital, and I love the way that SOUKALOVA, she just settled, she took a little longer, and she's very light on the rifle. It's not pulled into her shoulder, it just floats so easily in her shoulder.
From 14 seconds behind, the margin has grown only a little bit, but SOUKALOVA is nice and safe out in front, and Vita Shimarenko, who came out some 9 seconds down on DORIN HABERT, I think she's given up the chase for second as well. So 1, 2 and 3 should be decided by now, although Kaisa MÄKÄRÄINEN might have different ideas. 10.5 kilometres, they've still got what, 2Ks to go? MÄKÄRÄINEN is flying, and she might be thinking in terms of finishing in the top 2.
Do you know, and VILUKHINA as well will be thinking, right, if MÄKÄRÄINEN's chasing down the bronze medal, I'm going to try and go for it as well. And you know what? They have a chance, a real chance. That's a bad sign with Vita looking back.
Yeah, well, she's just seen what's coming, and I think she's going to have to switch into overdrive if she wants to stay clear around the bottom of the course. There's a lot of climbing to go, and that, of course, is where MÄKÄRÄINEN is so strong. The tempo not high enough to convince you that Vita Shimarenko is feeling brilliant. Look at MÄKÄRÄINEN in contrast. The recovery of the arm so fast. Not the neatest technique we've seen from MÄKÄRÄINEN, but she's climbing at least 15% quicker than Vita Shimarenko.
And VILUKHINA, she's found something from somewhere. She looked exhausted on the previous 2.5 kilometres.
VILUKHINA's shooting, Mike, I know she missed on the second of the prones.
Yeah, 0-1, 0-1. So the ski speed is good. They are hauling down Vita, and you got to imagine that Vita cannot punch back on this.
Good move from VILUKHINA. Very good move to box in MÄKÄRÄINEN and get ahead. But it's going to be a tactical race between those two. And if they want to get second place, they're going to have to push the pace. They will not catch SOUKALOVA, who's on very good form at the moment. What a feeling, Mike. Last year, she hadn't even dreamt of finishing on the podium, let alone winning. And this year, she got her first win in Pokljuka. She won again in Sochi, and she's made it look very easy here in Khanty-Mansiysk.
It's quite a journey. Amazing what she's done in Pokljuka. Just before Christmas was really what set her up with a first, a second and a third. It's not over yet entirely. DORIN is finding something. I'm so pleased for the French team who haven't, the women's team have not had a whole lot of luck or top results this season compared to what they've done in the past. But this is great today.
Yeah, she had a good race yesterday, just missed the podium, but she started down in 18th position and finished in 4th. So DORIN has kept that form going. Vita Shimarenko, credit to her. She's stuck in behind the Russian and the Finn as they make the last climb into the stadium. 400 metres to go, and MÄKÄRÄINEN just starting to pull a little bit clear. Shimarenko needs to hang on if she wants a chance of finishing in the top 3. And VILUKHINA will keep the crowd on their feet. The Russians desperate for more success. They won't get a win, but they might just get third place. It's going to be a tactical battle. How would you play it from here?
Well, I didn't like what VILUKHINA was doing. She was going all the way in the deeper, the slower snow, and that has got to have exhausted her. Then she figured out it was the long way round. I think that's cost her the bronze medal.
740 World Cup points on the board already for SOUKALOVA this season. She's going to take it up to 800 points with the win today, 60 for the victory. And it could put her ahead of Anastasia Kuzmina. She won't catch Kaisa MÄKÄRÄINEN because MÄKÄRÄINEN's going to pick up a bundle of points today, but she could well move into the top 6, and that's a fantastic effort. But I guess we say the best performance of anyone this season who hasn't been on the podium before.
It's amazing. 3 in a row. 3 days in a row almost, and what a performance from the Czech Republic.
And well done to DORIN HABERT. I know the French lost Marie-Laure Brunet, who retired early this season. She says she's coming back. We haven't heard word of that. I think if summer training doesn't go too well, she might not come back. MÄKÄRÄINEN on the podium, so she completes the season without a win. She still stays on 5 career wins. A little bit surprising when she's been consistently fast throughout the year. VILUKHINA gave it everything, led in the early stages, but 2 misses, proving 1 too many for her chances of finishing on the podium. And Vita Shimarenko, how that's going to be such a hard result to take.
Where does she go from here? Vita coming into the range often, and that's great from GASPARIN.
Yeah, that's fantastic for Selina GASPARIN. 6th position. Just looking down to see where she is in the World Cup standings. Down in 21st position. She'll certainly she'll challenge via Semerenko, who was just ahead of her, and so that's a really good result for Selina Gasparin, who's I think her PB for the season actually came in the very first race of the season in Östersund, where she finished 4th. So she started well and she's finished well. You can't ask much more than that.
And DAHLMEIer, at only 19 years of age, she's the best German today, just missing one shot and, well, 50 seconds behind.
Andrea Henkel, who's seldom out of the top 20, only twice this season as she finished out of the top 20, gets another top 9. And I'm assuming, Mike, as we watch ECKHOFF finish, that the fact that Tim Burke will be going to the Olympics next year means that Andrea Henkel will stay on the tour as well. So we should get the pleasure of her company all the way through next season.
I think so. And she's ranked second, third into this one today. Third in the world. In fact, that'll probably remain so, although she'll beat Domracheva today, who's second.
Tora Berger in 13th position, a lowly position for her. I think that gets taken away anyway. The 2 worst results of the season go down. 155 behind for Tora Berger, missing 3 targets. But it's been a sensational season. Take nothing away from her. She's worn that yellow-red bib almost since we were in Östersund. Of course, she won the triple in Östersund. I don't think anyone else has had a taste of yellow this year. Fantastic achievement. Well, I think the sponsors will be queuing up for SOUKALOVA after her successes at the end of the season, and she'll be busy signing contracts for the next month or so.
And 3 in a row, it has to be one of the we don't often see it. Of course, Martin Fourcade is able to do it, Björn Dahlin in his time. It's a rare thing to do, to put your game so perfectly well 3 days on the trot.
Yeah, well, we've seen 3 in the women's tour this year, which is it's very, very unusual. Berger, of course, did it in Östersund, she did it again in Oslo, and now in Khanty-Mansiysk. It has all been about Gabriela SOUKALOVA. Does that tell you that she likes these tracks, or that she's someone who peaks coming the end of the season, which might give her a lot of confidence for next year?
I think it will, and they will need to really look at her journey. And of course, she was unwell during the Christmas period, so she was rested up effectively, and maybe that has offset her form, which didn't come to its best at the World Championships. It's come to the best at the end of the season. So the coaches will be looking at exactly how it panned out, the amount of hours she's been training, at what intensities, and they should certainly shade that for the Olympics next year.
Well, that's all for the women, and another great victory for SOUKALOVA to wrap up the women's season. We do have the men's coming up later on, though. Do stay with us for that. Well, great scenes. Credit to the crowds who've turned out in some pretty atrocious conditions. It's cold, it's windy, the snow is coming down in the bucketful, and there we see the start time for the men's 13:20 European time. We went through the times earlier on, but if you are watching in the UK, we'll be on air just before 12:30 for the very last race of the season, and let's hope it's every bit as good as the one that we've just seen. Will it be Ukraine, perhaps the Czech Republic? Maybe they can get 2 wins in one day. I don't think it's likely, but Andrei Morovitz might think differently. Or is it going to be Martin Fourcade who comes through to just show us what he can do? Men's slalom coming from Lenzerheide. Nick and John obviously lined up for that event. Mike and myself will be back for the men's later on today. Thanks for your company throughout the season. Do join us for the very last one of the season.